have ignored us in the past and you will ignore us again. We have run out of excuses and we are running out of time.
Show us your faithfulness. Show us your trust.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Here's a quick look at what's lined up for you on the show tonight. Do aliens exist? That one question has haunted us forever and has also been at the center of global intrigue. You must have followed what happened in Mexico. The so-called alien corpses have been making headlines. The images have been going viral, naturally so. It is a story that has a lot of layers, a lot of concern, and several question marks. Meanwhile, you know what the NASA chief has said? That he believes aliens exist. That's the NASA chief. On Gravitas tonight, we unravel the many layers to this story and get you the bigger picture. Also on the show for you tonight, will Pakistan increase its nuclear warheads? We tell you what American atomic scientists are saying at this point and where the numbers stand. Is the Chinese President Xi Jinping paying the price of his third term? We tell you about the series of mysterious disappearances in the country and what they tell us. We tell you all that you need to know about the Nipah virus outbreak in India as yet another confirmed case takes the tally to 6. The latest on the Maldives presidential election, and we tell you what the electoral battle there means for India. Last night on the show, we asked a question. Are you a believer or a skeptic? It wasn't about your religion. It was about creation. Are we the only living beings in the whole of this vast, unfathomable universe? Or is there life among the countless stars? I mean, some of us might love being unique, but do we really want to be alone? Tonight, we delve deeper into the cosmos. A very astonishing development has unfolded, one that might just redefine our place in the universe. Peru's alien corpses, the so-called alien corpses, it seems have jolted NASA into action. They are only corpses, so-called corpses, but have breathed new life into the age-old question, are we alone in this vast universe? Now, of all the people, the head of NASA, the US Space Agency, has an answer. He believes that aliens exist. Bill Nelson is not some crank in search of a headline. He is in charge of an organization that arguably knows more about the universe than anyone else. And as revelations go, this is sensational. He believes that aliens are not just the stuff of science fiction. He believes that they are real, that they are out there waiting to be discovered. We know that American presidents who have been briefed and committed to secrecy have dropped hints that America knows much more about UFOs and aliens than it has revealed. But the news now does not end with a statement. NASA has officially launched a mission in search of these extraterrestrial beings. And this has injected a renewed sense of purpose into the quest for life beyond our planet. This isn't merely one more step in the quest of the mystery. It is a meteoric leap forward in space exploration. Let's do a deep dive tonight. The question is, do aliens exist? And it's a question that has intrigued and captivated minds around the world, but the answer is rather complex. And as of this moment, we have not stumbled upon concrete evidence of alien life. But do not let that disappoint you, because the possibilities are endless. NASA, which is the agency at the forefront of space exploration, has delved into this mystery with the utmost dedication. An independent team embarked on a quest to decipher the origins of unidentified aerial phenomena. But their meticulous search yielded no smoking gun, no definitive proof of alien existence. But here's where the story takes a rather fascinating turn. The head of NASA himself, while acknowledging the absence of concrete evidence, holds a personal conviction. He believes that the universe might just hold the secrets of other life forms.
NASA has a statutory authority to look for life in the universe. We have an understanding that, of course, ours is not the only galaxy. And there are billions and billions of galaxies, and each of those galaxies, including our own, have billions and billions of stars. And with the James Webb looking at the exoplanets, we are now beginning to discover, and somewhere out there, we will discover another medium-sized, stony planet. If you ask me, do I believe there's life in a universe that is so vast that it's hard for me to comprehend how big it is? My personal answer is yes.
The NASA chief makes it abundantly clear. The absence of proof does not mean the possibility of aliens does not exist. The possibility exists. After all, there are billions of galaxies out there. And with this idea in mind, NASA has taken a big step. They have officially thrown their hat into the ring of alien hunting. How, you might ask? By appointing a new director of research. And this new official has been given the monumental task of delving deeper into the mysteries of unidentified aerial phenomena, or as they are more commonly known, UFOs. And this newly assembled team aims to create a robust database for future UAP encounters. It's a clear sign that NASA is ramping up its efforts to uncover the mystery around these flying objects. And by Thursday evening, NASA finally broke its silence. In a press release, they unveiled the name of the director. A seasoned veteran in government roles since 1996, he has also had a remarkable stint as NASA's liaison to the Pentagon on UAP matters. So it's clear that NASA is taking those mysterious flying objects more seriously than ever before. And even if this all sounds unbelievable, there is something we cannot deny. There have been more than 800 events collected over 27 years. Of this, 2 to 5% are thought to be possibly anomalous. It could mean anything that is not readily understandable by the operator or the censor. Military and civilian pilots from across the world have come forward with a multitude of reports. They talk about strange sightings that defy explanation. There are hundreds of such reports, and yet they are often dismissed by rationalists who believe that the truth is only what their eyes have seen. But there are no eyes which can see into the horizons of space. We have to look at data with an open mind, and this is what NASA seems ready to do. Always remember, NASA has its own reputation to protect. It will not dent its reputation with berserk behavior. But now the tone has become decidedly more serious. The American government has taken a decisive step forward. What's driving this seriousness, you may wonder? Well, a part of it stems from concerns that these phenomena could have ties to foreign surveillance, adding a layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama. One example of a still unexplained phenomenon was a flying metallic ORB spotted by an MQ-9 drone at an undisclosed location in the Middle East. Footage of the UAP was shown to the Congress in April. It was a sight to behold. It defied explanation. In July, a former U.S. intelligence officer sent shockwaves through the Congress. He boldly claimed that the U.S. government was in possession of unidentified anomalous phenomena and even the remains of their extraterrestrial operators. And just when you thought it could not get any more bizarre, this week the alleged bodies of 2 non-human beings were unveiled in Mexico, or so it was claimed. The purported mummified remains, which had a greyish color and a human-like body form, were brought by Jay Mossan, a controversial Mexican journalist and self-proclaimed UFO expert. And as the images of them generated a mixture of surprise, disbelief, intrigue, even ridicule, nevertheless, the unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, remain one of our planet's greatest mysteries. It is a topic that has ignited fascination and fueled countless conspiracy theories. The days of government silence on the matter have given way to a whole new era, where governments and space organizations are no longer content with keeping these cosmic mysteries under wraps. The truth, it seems, is finally emerging from the deep shadows in the limitless horizons of our cosmos, of our universe. And our next story is about Pakistan's nuclear arsenal. It continues to grow at an alarming rate. I am not the one saying this. America's top nuclear scientists are. In a newly published report, American scientists have claimed that Pakistan currently possesses 170 nuclear warheads, 170. And what's worse, they say this number could potentially increase to approximately 200 by the year 2025. These claims were made in the Nuclear Notebook column. It was published on the 11th of September in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. Now, for the unversed, the Nuclear Notebook is a feature produced by the team at the Federation of American Scientists Nuclear Information Program, Nuclear Information Project, beg your pardon. Now, here's what the scientists had to say about their research. I'm quoting. We estimate that Pakistan now has a nuclear weapons stockpile of approximately 170 warheads. The U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency projected in 1999 that Pakistan would have 60 to 80 warheads by 2020, but several new weapon systems have been fielded and developed since then, which leads us to a higher estimate. So what's the source of this estimate, you ask? Well, the information is mostly based on state-originating data, such as government pronouncements, declassified documents, budgetary details, military demonstrations. And there's also a host of non-state originating data like media reports, think tank assessments, industry publications, as well as commercial satellite imagery. Next question. What makes these scientists think that Pakistan's nuclear stockpile will increase? A host of factors, like the new delivery systems that are in development, the development of 4 plutonium production reactors, and an expanding uranium enrichment infrastructure. These factors have the potential to increase Pakistan's nuclear arsenal over the next several years. And that said, the scientists maintain that any projected increase will depend on political stability and how much the Indian nuclear arsenal grows. Which brings us to the most important question: how many nuclear warheads does India have? Well, in the year 2022, the same nuclear notebook estimated that India could have around 160 nuclear warheads. The same report, like we just told you, says that Pakistan has 170 nuclear warheads. Should this be a cause of worry for New Delhi? We will leave the answer to strategic experts. Is the Chinese President Xi Jinping in crisis? Is he paying the price for his 3rd term? For declaring himself president for life? These questions pop up courtesy a series of political disappearances. First, it was Qin Gang, China's former foreign minister, a man many called Xi Jinping's prodigy. He was apparently Xi Jinping's pick for the post of foreign minister, and he has been missing for 82 days. And then we have Li Shangfu, China's defense minister, also a member of the CCP's Central Committee. A grouping of China's topmost leaders. He's also said to be close to Xi Jinping, and he has been missing for 17 days. And they are not alone, by the way. Also missing are the former leaders of the PLA's rocket force, General Li Yuchao and General Liu Guangbin. They both disappeared from public view in August, and they have not been seen since. Until now, the assumption was that Xi Jinping purged all these officials, that he was behind their mysterious disappearances. Well, that assumption is slowly changing. You see, many believe that these men have been purged to make Xi Jinping weaker. You see, all these men I just mentioned were Xi Jinping's closest people. In fact, some were handpicked by him. Some would serve as his advisors. And their disappearance only makes Xi Jinping look weaker. And it also raises some very significant questions. Is Xi Jinping weaker than the world thinks? Are people close to him deliberately being targeted? Do people who don't want him in power coming after his closest friends? I mean, there is an old saying, if you want to get to the king, kill the parrot first. Is that what is actually happening to Xi Jinping? It helps to look at some recent reports, in fact, like this one by the Washington Post. It was published in August this year. It says these disappearances could hint at potential cracks on Xi's grip on power, at the challenges that he might be facing within the upper echelons of the Chinese system, at the problems that he might be facing within both the diplomatic as well as the military systems. And then we have this report by Foreign Affairs. It says Xi Jinping's paranoia could have made him fall out of favor with the higher command of the CCP. And then there is this report by the Rand Institute. It says that Xi may have overstepped the limits of his power. And this might have turned the party elite against him, with senior leaders in the Communist Party pushing back. And this is evident in the kind of announcements that have been made in the last 12 months, like the suspension of Xi Jinping's Common Prosperity Campaign, a campaign that was aimed at uplifting China's poor by dividing wealth equally. It has slowly faded out. And this is also evident in the remarks made by some senior CCP leaders, like China's former premier, Li Keqiang. After he was removed from the post, he sort of took a veiled dig at Xi Jinping, reminding a gathering of CCP lawmakers that heaven was watching what humans were doing. Have these words struck a chord within the CCP? Did they trigger a chain of events that we are witnessing right now? My point here is simple. The Chinese officials who have disappeared were at the very top of the party chain, and some were also Xi Jinping's closest aides. Why would Xi Jinping want to purge them? Why would he turn against his friends? There's certainly more to this than what meets the eye. And since we are on that story, let's also take you through our newly launched segment, Missing in China. This is a counter that keeps track of the high-profile disappearances in China. Li Shangfu, China's defense minister, has been missing for 17 days. Qin Gang, China's former foreign minister, has been missing for 82 days. Wei Fenghe, China's former defense minister, has not been seen in public for at least 123 days. Li Yuchao, the former chief of the PLA rocket force, has not been seen in public for 63 days. Liu Guangbin, former deputy chief of the PLA rocket force, also has been missing for 63 days. We asked the Chinese authorities to address these missing cases. The families of these officials, after all, deserve an answer, as does the world. And we will remind China once again tomorrow. Earlier in the week, we told you about a virus on the prowl in India, the Nipah virus. Another Indian has fallen prey, unfortunately. A 39-year-old man in Kerala has tested positive for the Nipah infection, and the number of cases now has gone up to 6. 2 have already died. 4 cases are active. Meanwhile, a 60-year-old woman is also suspected to be infected. What do we know so far? The man who is now confirmed positive was under observation at a hospital in Kozhikode. He had earlier been admitted at the same private hospital where other patients who tested positive were treated. One patient died on the 30th of August, another on the 11th of September. The second deceased had come in contact with the first one briefly, and the relatives of both were also hospitalized. They also showed Nipah-like symptoms. And here's what else we know so far. Health workers have tracked down contacts of the confirmed cases. 950 more people are now under observation. Out of these, 231 have been classified in the high-risk category. 21 have been hospitalized. How is Kerala dealing with the outbreak? The government has issued a travel advisory. Masks are officially back and mandatory. Tourists have been advised to wear masks at all public places. States bordering Kerala have put up stringent checks for those with possible symptoms. A number of important cultural celebrations and programs have also been rescheduled. Apparently, this is the peak tourist season for Kerala, but the virus spread and has created panic. And why not? This virus is also causing a lot of concern. Vigil is especially high in the Kozhikode district, where the infection has spread. The state government declared 9 village councils as containment zones, and in these areas, only shops selling essential goods will be allowed to function from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, no curfew timing has been announced for pharmacies and health centers. Hundreds of accredited social health activists visit the homes of residents every day. They conduct medical checkups, they monitor the people, they collect data. Needless to say, these containment zones are out of bounds for travelers. Educational institutions throughout the district will stay closed till Saturday, while all gatherings and functions have been prohibited till the 24th of September. 75 isolation rooms, 6 intensive care units and 4 ventilators have been kept ready at Kozhikode's Medical College Hospital in case things go south. The Indian Council of Medical Research has delivered antiviral to combat Nipah virus outbreak to Kerala, and so far it is the only option available to treat Nipah virus infection. Its efficacy has not been clinically proven yet. A mobile laboratory has also been sent to test the sample. India will also procure 20 more doses of monoclonal antibody from Australia. Whether or not you live in Kerala, should you be scared? We have already seen what a virus can do. We just dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic. Nipah is like the coronavirus in more ways than one. In fact, Nipah is a zoonotic virus. It jumps from animals to human beings. It is also highly infectious and can be transmitted from one human being to another. Nipah is considered to have originated from bats, fruit bats to be specific. Nipah can also infect other animals. This includes dogs, cats, horses, pigs, sheep. Like COVID-19, Nipah symptoms can start showing as early as 4 days of infection. And what happens once the virus has entered your body? Usually it begins with a fever, a headache may follow, and then cough and sore throat. Like COVID-19, Nipah also can result in breathing difficulties, and this can last up to a couple of weeks. And then the virus aims for the brain. The patient develops encephalitis, as in a major swelling in the brain, and with that comes drowsiness, disorientation, mental confusion, and here on things progress fast. A patient usually lands in coma within a day or two, and in extreme cases, dies. Should you be scared? The longer answer is, Nipah has a mortality rate between 40% and 70%. This is according to the World Health Organization. Since the year 2001, there have been a total of 6 Nipah outbreaks in India, including this one. 3 of them have been in Kerala alone. The last one was during the COVID-19 pandemic, in fact. And in the last 2 decades, Nipah virus has claimed some 70 lives. Can we really afford another pandemic? Earlier this week, we broke the news that US President Joe Biden would be facing an impeachment inquiry. And now his son, Hunter Biden, has been indicted on gun charges. This comes after a plea deal fell apart. Let me remind you, this is a historic moment. It's the first time that the child of a sitting US president has been indicted on federal criminal charges. How will this impact Joe Biden in the upcoming election season? And how will the White House react to the developments? Our next report getting you all the details.
While US President Biden tries to deal with an impeachment inquiry and prepares for the election season, his son Hunter has been indicted on 3 counts of having a gun while using narcotics. 2 of these counts carry a maximum prison sentence of 10 years, while the 3rd count carries a 5-year sentence. Each count carries a $250,000 fine. While the White House remains mum on the indictment, Hunter's attorney, Abe Lowell, says that the special counsel, David Weiss, who is a Donald Trump appointee, is bending to political pressure. Lowell suggests that the charges were influenced by Republicans' improper and partisan interference in the process, and that his client did not violate the law. The new charges are the first ones brought by special counsel David Weiss. He clearly achieved what he set out to do, as he sought to indict Hunter Biden by the 29th of September. Meanwhile, earlier this week, the impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden made headline. Biden is being accused of lying about his involvement in his son's business dealings.
Today, I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. It's exactly what we want to know, the answers. I believe the President would want to answer these questions and allegations as well.
The opposition says that he lied while serving as vice president from 2009 to 2017. Tax investigators have also claimed that the Justice Department stymied the investigations into Hunter's tax return. The House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says that unless U.S. Attorney Weiss investigates everyone involved in the fraud schemes and influence peddling, it will be clear President Biden's DOJ is protecting Hunter Biden and the big guy. The White House denounced the inquiry and said that the efforts were baseless.
You see Republicans in Congress, right? They have spent all year investigating the president. That's what they've spent all year doing. And have turned up with no evidence, none, that he did anything wrong. I mean, that is what we've heard over and over again from their almost year-long investigation. And that's because the president didn't do anything wrong.
Will the Hunter Biden indictment piled on top of the impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden steal the attention from Trump's criminal charges? Special counsel Weiss might have given the Republicans exactly what they wanted. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Let's now shift our focus to the UK. It is the media's duty to show you the news with absolute transparency. But is that really happening in Britain? Did broadcasters let the Buckingham Palace censor television coverage of the King's coronation? The claim is that the monarchy imposed extraordinary restrictions on the media to the extent that the royals even demanded the right to delete footage after it was aired. We are talking about claims of controlled coverage and claims of the monarchy suppressing free press. Reports say the royals love what they call a perpetuity edit. It means that the palace has the right to dictate which clips can be shown in future broadcasts. They can even censor pictures before they are replayed. Reports have even revealed that there are secret agreements between British television broadcasters and the royal family, especially when it comes to covering formal events. The Guardian talks about how the Buckingham Palace manipulated the coverage of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, a procession watched by nearly 1 million people in central London, and also King Charles' coronation. The claim is that senior editors from the BBC, ITN, Sky News were told to remove footage from circulation in real time. In fact, the former head of Sky News, John Riley, says that the royal family has always tried to escape real scrutiny by news broadcasters. Riley says that he had to give a list of questions to Charles before an interview in the year 2017. The journalists claimed that it was a quote-unquote bad decision and that the channel would not have a robust defense if they were questioned. And what if the monarchy's rules are not followed? A British journalist says, and I'm quoting, royal palaces freak out when a broadcast journalist doorsteps a member of the royal family. Haughty emails, phone calls, and even a summon for head of news to a meeting can swiftly follow. I have experienced this treatment, quote unquote. You see, Britain does not hesitate when it comes to criticizing others. Let's tell you about what a British broadcaster recently said. He did not think twice before blaming India regarding foreign aid. We told you about this. The news anchor Patrick Christys first congratulated India on its moon mission, the Chandrayaan-3, but suddenly asked the country to return a $2.8 billion it received as foreign aid. The anchor said, and I'm quoting, "We should not be giving money to countries with a space program. As a rule, if you can afford to fire rockets to the dark side of the moon, you should not be coming to us with your hand out," quote unquote. Can you believe that? He also went ahead with advising the British government and said that it should withhold nearly $70 million aid it is set to give next year. Following this, netizens bashed the anchor, to quote one social media user, just subtract it from the $44 trillion you have looted from India. Give back our Kohinoor also, quote unquote. Another netizen said, thank you for reminding about the grant. Now, as a rule, salute us and return $45 trillion you have looted from us. That's the amount of anger. A British journalist says that rather than staying too incurious and compliant, certain topics need to be discussed and addressed. Topics like why King Charles did not pay any inheritance tax on the fortune that he inherited from his mother, or why some members of the family don't pay capital gains tax. The Maldivian voters have just turned up the heat for a high-stakes geopolitical showdown. As the Maldives hurtles towards the second and final round of the presidential election on the 30th of September, we are watching with anticipation and intrigue. The Maldives, a crucial ally for India, and the initial polls putting out pro-China opposition candidate Mohammad Muizzu ahead. Muizzu is currently commanding the spotlight in this riveting face-off. Our next report telling you more.
The island nation of Maldives is located around 2,000 kilometers from India and is among India's most important partners in the region. India's regional dominance is significantly bolstered by the robust bond with partners like Maldives. India has also been a significant provider of development aid to the country. The Maldives is known for its high-end tourist resorts. And that makes it the focus of a regional contest for influence. You see, Maldivian presidents have traditionally followed an India-first strategy. This includes the current president, Soli. However, there is a section of Maldivian politicians, particularly the Progressive Party of Maldives, who have apprehensions about India's prominent role. Enter the pro-China mayor of the capital, Malé, Mohammad Muizzu. He entered the fray after former President Abdullah Yameen was banned from contesting election. Muizzu has pledged to expel Indian military personnel stationed in the Maldives, and if he comes to power, they say he could return the country to authoritarianism that was seen under the former president. So, there are concerns that if Muizzu's coalition comes to power, there is a risk to democracy itself. Additionally, tensions between New Delhi and Malé could climb. So, how do the numbers stack up at the moment? In Saturday's round, Maldivians gave pro-China Muizzu 46% of the vote, whereas the pro-India Soli received just 39% of the initial votes. In the final runoff, the winner must get over 50% of the votes. The result has dashed the high expectations of insiders in the president's office. Saturday's outcome is sure to reverberate in New Delhi and Beijing. Multiple reports cite South Asian diplomatic sources saying it would compel each government to prepare for a new diplomatic chapter in the Maldives. Should no candidate secure an outright victory, a runoff election will be the next chapter in this political drama, scheduled for later in September. The ultimate victor of this could hold the key to determining the battle for influence in the Maldives, which we are calling a strategic chessboard, where both India and China have invested. On one side, we have a country that seems focused primarily on pumping loans into the region while turning a blind eye to the potential threats to democracy. On the other side, we find a nation with a different agenda, whose interest lies in safeguarding the progress and transformation of the Maldives.
Our next story is heartbreaking to say the least. It is about Sara Sharif, a 10-year-old girl. She is no more. The police found her body on the 10th of August. What happened to her, and what do we know about the death of this 10-year-old? In the latest, Sara Sharif's father, stepmother and uncle have been charged with the murder of the girl. I repeat, her father, her stepmother and her uncle. they have also each been charged with causing or allowing the death of a child. It is a case that has been making global headlines. Let's get to the details and what we know so far. Sara's body was found at her home on the 10th of August. Let me now tell you what a post-mortem examination found. The 10-year-old child had sustained multiple and extensive injuries over a sustained and extended period, quote unquote. These are the names of the three who have been charged. Orphan Sharif, he is 41 years old. His partner, Benash Batul, who is 29. Orphan's brother, 28-year-old Faisal Malik. The 10-year-old child's father, stepmother, and uncle. On the 9th of August, the three of them traveled to Pakistan from the UK. And this, by the way, was a day before the police found the 10-year-old girl's body in Surrey in England. Like I said, her body was found on the 10th of August. According to reports, Sara was found dead after her father called the emergency number 999 from Pakistan. And by the way, Sara's 5 siblings also traveled to Pakistan with the trio. So what happened to the children? The police found them in Pakistan. Where exactly, you ask? At the residence of Sharif's father. They have been shifted to a government childcare facility. On Wednesday, the 3 adults, Sara's father, stepmother, and uncle, were arrested. The arrest took place at Gatwick Airport after disembarking a flight from Dubai. And then on Friday, the police confirmed that the 3 had been charged. It is a story that has naturally been dominating headlines. According to the police, Sara's mother, Olga Sharif, has been told about the latest development, and the police also say that she is receiving support from specialist officers. This is not the last we have heard of this story, and we will be keeping a close eye on the latest that emerges in this heartbreaking story. What happens when we die? Scientists might be one step closer to the answer to that big question. A new study has been conducted and it has revealed fascinating details, to say the least. Have a look for yourself. The study was conducted on survivors of cardiac arrest. Almost 40% of them had memories, dreamlike experiences, or some type of perception, even when they are unconscious. Interestingly, their brain waves showed signs of activity, and these waves have suggested awareness as they are being brought back to life, sometimes even up to an hour. And experts say that during a cardiac arrest, patients are teetering between life and death. They are in a deep coma and they don't respond to treatment physically at all. But at least 40% of them actually have a perception of being conscious to some extent. And that perception varies from person to person. For some, it is just a vague feeling that something is happening around them. However, 6 patients in the study reported transient recalled experiences of death, or in simple terms, a near-death experience. And some may see their lives flashing by. Others may go to a place that feels like home. Several patients recalled aspects of the medical treatment, such as the pain, pressure, or hearing doctors. Others remember dreamlike sensations, like being chased by the police or being caught in the rain. Some survivors had positive memories of seeing a light, a tunnel, or a family member. Some felt intense emotions of love, tranquility, and peace. Others, however, had a feeling of separation from the body and a recognition that they had died. Scarily enough, some had delusions of monsters or faceless figures. Now, it's not clear exactly what it means if someone sees a deceased family member, revisits key moments in their life, or feels an overwhelming sense of love and peace. But doctors believe the emotional impact is important. And the main takeaway is survivors retain some memories of CPR, and this could be a source of emotional stress for some. Another key finding was of spikes of brain activity. Doctors observed gamma, delta, alpha and beta waves up to an hour into CPR. And some of these brain waves normally occur when people are conscious and performing higher mental functions. This includes thinking, memory retrieval, and conscious perception. This was just one study, but since 1960, the year when CPR was invented, experts say millions of people have reported near-death experiences. Many people have reported the same experience. Their consciousness became heightened and more vivid. Their thinking became sharper and clearer. This while doctors thought they were dead and tried to revive them. In fact, a 2013 study which examined electrical signals inside the heads of rats also found that the rodents entered a hyper-alert state just before death. So what explains this? Is there a realm beyond this one? Do people go into some other dimension briefly only to come back? Because their heart certainly stops, breathing also ceases. Yet they retain some level of consciousness and come back. Are these lucid experiences indicative of a life after death? Or are they just a trick of a dying brain? What do you think? On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas tonight. We're leaving you with Gravitas images. This is me, Molly Gampir, signing off for now. Have a good weekend. Thanks very much for watching.
This week on Melt, the do's and